And what's up, everybody? I am back. Cameraless to Hitmaster, but I do have my
Oh,
webcam going. We are back with another episode of the Talkin' NASCAR podcast. This is episode number 11. And we got a lot to talk about. There was an elimination race back on Sunday. The Roval. Four more drivers got eliminated, and the round of 8 is set. We will talk all about that. Jackson is coming. He's going to be a little bit late, and we are going to make sure that he stays the whole time this time. We are making sure about that. Um, but yeah, I mean, he said we can start with that, although he should be here in a couple of minutes. But yeah, should be a good episode. We got a lot to talk about. Let's get right into it. So, prior to the Roval, between when we recorded episode 10 and when the Roval actually happened, Bowman was ruled out. He's actually going to be out for a little while longer. We'll get to that a little bit later. Cody Ware was also out with the foot injury. He got a Texas. You know, it makes you weird, but his right foot was the one that's the problem. So, I could see that, but he didn't race either. Marco Andretti also made his Xfinity Series debut at the Roval this weekend.
oh yeah, I forgot about that. That made me upset now that I didn't get to
Yeah, I didn't. That wasn't
see
announced.
that.
That wasn't announced till like 2 days before the race. And then also William Byron's penalty. I don't know if we talked about this last time, but William Byron's penalty got overturned.
Yeah,
So I think he still got the. I think he still got fined, but I think the points got given back, which ended up making a huge difference when it came to how the. I guess it didn't make a huge difference. I don't remember. I think he was one of the drivers that was more to the code than the rest.
he was below the cutoff line. At Texas.
I think he got in now.
No, not at Texas. After Texas, he was, unless I'm thinking of this correctly, yeah, Texas was the one when he got penalized, and then wasn't it Talladega, then the Roval? I'm correct.
Yeah, Talladega happened, and then the Roval. It was between Talladega and the Roval. His penalty got revoked, and he got the points back, which helped drastically.
It's okay. We're all tired here.
Yeah, but I mean, the race itself, I watched a good amount of it. I tried to at least, because the Lions were not doing shit on Sunday, and I had to work, so I didn't get to watch the Lions anyways. Thank God. But most of the race was a snooze fest, and then they throw one of them. What was it? It was a caution for a banner. It was a sponsor banner. It was on the track. I get why they threw it. I'm not mad at them for throwing it like a lot of other people. Like I probably should be. A lot of people are mad about them throwing the caution for that. At least it's not like a phantom debris caution where they don't even show you where the debris is. At least we knew that it was there and that it existed and that it was causing harm to the track. Well, I guess it wasn't causing harm to the track. It was causing harm to the cars on it, but you get the point.
Right.
Prior to that happening, most of the race was kind of a snooze fest. The only cautions were stage cautions up until that point. So a lot of drivers were having mechanical issues, though. Daniel Suarez lost power steering, and so he couldn't make the turns fast enough, and so he lost a ton of positions, and that ended up costing him a spot in the round of 12. Ross Chastain had a what's it called, the rear part that always breaks. Was not a track bar? It's a tow bar. We'll call it rear axle. We'll call it that. But that broke. Kyle Larson's also broke. Chastain was fine because he won a stage. He was able to hang on. Larson was
Is that really why he got fined?
What, Chastain?
Yeah, Chastain.
Did he get fined? I didn't see that.
I just thought when you said he got fined, I thought he actually got fined.
I said he was fine, like, because he won a stage, so he was able to make it in because he won the stage. Had he not won the stage,
he said fined. So
had he not won the stage, he wouldn't have advanced. No, it'd be stupid if they fined you for a mechanical failure. But Kyle Larson also had that same problem and ended up costing him a spot in the round of 8. He was eliminated. Other drivers eliminated. Alex Bowman was obviously eliminated prior to all that happening. Plus Larson, and then it was
So we will have a new champion this year.
Yep, no back-to-back champion yet again. And then Cindric got eliminated. Cindric got spun late in the race, cost him a bunch of spots. He was trying to advance. So he's been eliminated as well. And I think the last driver to get eliminated was Chase Briscoe got in. Who was the other driver that got eliminated? Oh, Daniel Suarez. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Suarez got eliminated. And I feel bad for Suarez.
But you got to give him credit.
I mean, he pushed hard. I do give him credit.
Especially if he started off, I think, in Joe Gibbs, right? And almost did absolutely nothing after Carl Edwards left. And now look at him. He's with Trackhouse. He has a good team. Trackhouse is looking like a good team. So it's like, I mean, look at Chastain. Chastain came out of freaking left field.
Yeah, he's been relatively quiet in the playoffs, though. He hasn't won a race in a while. Kind of stayed under the radar, contrary to what he was doing during the regular season, was a test to staying under the radar. So he advanced. So yeah, again, Bowman, Suarez, Cindric, and Kyle Larson were the 4 eliminated. Honestly, for Cindric, I'm not surprised. I'm actually surprised he got that far. Bowman, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because he sat out the whole second round, basically, except for Texas, which he wrecked. But, even if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have been surprised that he would have been eliminated anyways. Kyle Larson, I am kind of surprised about, though I don't think he really had a good contention for the championship anyways. He's been kind of mediocre this season, contrary to what people want to believe. And then Suarez, I feel bad for. I think he had a great shot to do well in the round of 8. And had he not had that mechanical problem, he would have advanced. I guess that's the same thing for Larson, though. So, but I feel bad for that. But the other big thing that happened from the Roval was on the last lap. Well, other than I guess we've got to talk about after the fucking banner caution took place. The race pretty much just went to shit after that, and so the restart ensues. About 6 cars wrecked going into the first turn. No caution was flown, and then Tyler Reddick dumped Chase Elliott after he was en route to a victory. I picked Chase Elliott this weekend, and he was about to give me my second point of the season with his 6th win, and
it's okay.
Tyler Reddick dumped him. The crowd went nuts. It's okay. He moved on, which is good. But so I can't be too mad. But
that's why I like the playoff thing, because if something happens like that and you've already won, you're locked in. You don't need to worry about a wreck. I mean, you're pissed that you almost just won another race, but still, you're locked in. You don't need to worry about it.
Then what ended up? There was another caution that did come out. I think it was because some of the track had come up and on the backstretch to do like the little chicane thing. I think something happened there, and they had to red flag the race, I think, for that. And then they restarted again, and the other half of the field wrecked on the restart. Everybody was chaos. And then the big piece of that was Cole Custer on the last lap. He let his teammate Chase Briscoe pass him, and then brake checked everybody behind him to let Briscoe get ahead, to allow Briscoe to advance himself into the next round with no problem. And it came out today, Custer actually got penalized for that. I don't remember exactly how much. I think it was like $100,000, points, fines, and that kind of thing. Getting himself, eliminated. Well, that means I wasn't in the playoffs to begin with.
And Tony's, I think, upset about. Is he upset about the Texas race, or is he upset about this one? Long story short.
Tony can be mad about anything. It is Tony's story. So, a lot of people are mad not because necessarily of the penalty itself, but because of the double standard that they think is enforced. They reference some situations where like Chase Elliott did the same thing to help Kyle Larson at Bristol last year. I think there was another situation with Hendrick that they were talking about. I don't remember. I can't say I didn't like the move that Custer did, but I can understand it from a teammate perspective, because it gets you a good reputation and that kind of thing. allowing your teammate to go farther when you can't necessarily do anything. It's not like Custer was going to win the race or anything, but
and my thing is, it was different. I'm going to sound like a typical Hendrick person saying this. It was different from the Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson and Kevin Harvick situation because Chase Elliott was pissed off at Harvick and he wanted to get back at Harvick. But that doesn't mean they should. Chase Elliott should have gotten fined. Long story short, of the date of the Bristol race.
true. Yeah. Oh well. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really affect anything because Briscoe didn't get any repercussions for it. Custer's not anywhere close to a championship, so it didn't really matter. They did also release, a lot of people were talking about the radio communications at the 41. It kind of, that reminded me of the spin gate from 2013 with Clint Boyer. They were like, yeah, you got a flat tire, baby it. And it was like, Clint Boyer, you use your arm itch, you got to itch your arm, itch it. That kind of thing. That reminded me of.
Clint Boyer always does those kind of things.
So, I mean, I don't know. Do you see this as like a fair penalty here, or is it just teammates being teammates? I mean, is it?
I mean, in Custer's form, I don't think it should have been it because Custer's trying to help his teammate and help him get into the playoffs. That's what you would do if I was Custer in that situation, and there was a teammate that was in the playoffs trying to make it into the next round. I would do the exact same thing, just so that my teammate could get a shot at a championship. Now, should the fine happen? Yes, no doubt without a mind. Fine should happen.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna block everyone behind you and try to use an excuse out of it, like if you're gonna block somebody, at least say go ahead and try blocking them on the radioactive. At least don't say, oh, I have an itchy arm, or oh, just baby it, you have a flat tire. No, just say you're gonna block the people. So that people don't think you're an idiot.
Like, I feel like you're gonna make it more blatantly obvious that you're going to do this if you vaguely indicate that something is wrong that's not actually wrong. Like it's just so weird on the last lap of a race to say, "Oh, baby, you got a flat tire." I mean, like, I guess that's why the 41 team hasn't been good since Kurt Busch left. So yeah, again, what do you think about the eliminations? Other than Suarez, we already kind of talked about Suarez.
I was very upset that Kyle Larson got out, and sadly Alex Bowman, because I really wanted a Hendrick 4 in the championship 4.
That would have been pretty sweet. That would have been sweet.
At least want it at least once when I see Nat racing, because and Hendrick and Gordon could actually know, okay, who's their top dog? Like, you know, how Jimmy Johnson was the top dog in NASCAR, even though I hate saying it, of Hendrick. But, like, if you have a Final Four with all Hendrick, then you can actually see, is it Chase Elliott? Is it William Byron? Is it Alex Bowman? Or is it Kyle Larson?
Yeah, to be fair on Bowman's part, I mean, it was kind of out of his control how he got eliminated because of his concussion. Kyle Larson's also kind of out of his control because of how a lot of the cars were getting very stressed due to the curbs and a lot of the turns, and also probably the long green flag runs in the first and second, and the stages did not help. I mean, there wasn't, if the stages didn't happen, there wouldn't have been any yellows up until the very end of the race, most likely. So you have to give him a little bit of leeway there. So it does suck, but I don't know. The only driver we're going to preview the round of 8 standings at the end of the podcast, but the only driver that I'm kind of really not happy that made it was Chase Briscoe. I just don't feel like he should have gotten this far. I kind of lucked his way in. But I mean, I'm okay with Chastain getting in Byron and all them. I think it's a good competitive final 8 otherwise.
I think I'm going to say this right now. I think the top 4 drivers that are making it into the final 4 are going to be at least the 2 people that I know are going to be William Byron and Chastain. I think they can make it. Knowing how they've driven, if they can just drive like that, rest of the 3 races, I think they can make it into the final 4 without a win. But
it's definitely going to be up in the air what's going to happen there. We'll get back to it later. See if we can get Jackson's opinion on the Roval whenever he decides to show up and all that kind of stuff. We'll move on to some other things that have happened. This has been known for a little while now, but it's coming up this weekend. Hailie Deegan will be making her Xfinity Series debut at Las Vegas this weekend in the 07 car. It was confirmed that she was going to make her debut a few weeks ago, but it was not confirmed where or what car she was driving. Now we know what car she's driving and what race. It's not confirmed if she's going to race any more races this season or what may come from this, but I think it is going to be pretty cool that she's getting the opportunity to do that.
it's very cool to see drivers and people giving. I mean, let me start that over. It's very cool to see younger and pretty bad car owners give people that want a shot to get up to the next level a shot. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen the 07 car out on the track since Joe Graff. Right?
Are you talking about like any of the 3 series, or are you just talking about Xfinity?
I'm talking about like Xfinity, because I remember Joe Graff Jr. Drove the 07.
I don't know anybody that's driven the 07 since Clint Boyer back in the days. Oh, I think I guess of course that Casey Mears and guys who took over in like 09, I think. But
Oh yeah, but long story short, I think it's good for her. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Hailie Deegan fan. First off, anybody that's watching this, I'm not saying that because I'm a Deegan fan. This is actually good for her.
I'm just hoping like a female driver is able to find success in NASCAR,
Right?
Continued success, and not just be someone that's like super overhyped because they are a woman, who has someone who has actual skill and can contend in races and win and do that stuff and open up the door for more women to come along and do the same thing in the future. I think it would open up the competitive level so much, and I think it would help a lot, and I think it would be also really cool.
Last week at Talladega when she finished 6th, I found out that was the first ever. She's the first ever woman driver to be in NASCAR to finish in that position in the Truck Series, like in the top 10.
Wow.
So
crazy seeing how long
breaking
Jennifer
record,
Jo Cobb's been racing.
I mean, that's not a huge record to break, but still, it's a record that she.
Baby steps, you got to start somewhere. So
that's how Elliott did it.
True. Big thing that happened this week, and this has actually been going on for a while. So we all know the next gen car is proven in the last few weeks to not be safe at all. It's claimed Kurt Busch, possibly his career. Alex Bowman, it's cost him a chance at the championship, and it's injured Cody Ware, and it's caused a lot of damage, and it's just proven to not be safe compared to the Gen 6 or really any car before that. Well, pretty much any other car before that. So as NASCAR's heading to Charlotte this weekend, there was a driver-initiated meeting with NASCAR executives to talk about the safety of the car. And NASCAR said that they were going to start doing crash tests and making modifications. The big one is the rear bumper of the car. I think they were going to do some other smaller ones, and maybe the front spoiler, not front spoiler, like front splitter. But this was big because it's It needs to happen. It does.
Right.
But I know especially they were going to work on the back bumper of the car because Kurt and Bowman both hit with the back of the car and they received concussions. So,
and let's be honest here, we don't want something to happen where they're at maybe a restrictor plate track or not a restrictor plate track, and they wreck just like how Earnhardt wrecked. Yes, it didn't look very hard into the wall, but we don't want that. I mean, yeah, there's been more safety precautions ever since then, but still, it could happen. The way the force when they wreck, even from the back, the force that they get is hard. I've seen the in-car cameras. It's crazy.
all right, so I got to pull it up what a leaked result that apparently back last Saturday, the 8th, they at a meeting at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, they changes that they plan on initiating for next year. So, basically, the summary is that they're attempting to create a better crumple zone behind the driver. So again, in the rear of the car to let the back end of the car, when they make impact with the wall, crumple better to release more energy, so that the car takes more of the brunt of the force than the driver itself. These changes will happen in 3 main areas of the rear of the car, which include the rear bumper struts, rear clip, and the back of the center section. This is kind of hard to see. This is like a little diagram. But that's like the center is right there, and then it goes back, and they're gonna like make all that like crumple together more. So what's gonna happen? So the first change noted is that they're gonna introduce a new rear bumper struts. They're going to be less thick, so that they're going to be like thinner, so that they crumple easier in the back of the car. So it doesn't seem like they're going to do anything on the front, at least right now. I mean, this is still pretty early on, because safety is obviously their number one concern, but I think they have a lot of other things that they could possibly work on, like tires, like all these like inner parts that are getting damaged with like just breaking like paper. I think they definitely have some things to work on here, but it'll be interesting to see how this works. They've been doing crash tests with the cars. Apparently it's been working pretty good, and I think the drivers are at least satisfied. I don't know if I want to call them happy with the changes, but they're at least satisfied.
Logano hates anything.
Well, I was Joey Logano, so you gotta it's Joey Logano, so you can't impress him, but there's more people than just Joey Logano. So.
Right. Yep.
But it will be interesting to see where that leads to as they go. I think we're going to definitely get some more. They're definitely going to probably keep running these throughout the season and probably into the off season. Testing them as they implement them and they continue to test the changes and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Some other silly season stuff. There's been changes at colleague in Xfinity. I believe this is relating to the Kyle Busch situation with them going to Toyota. Let me check my note here about that. Let me see here in the news. Looks like they're bringing back Daniel Hemrick in the 11 car for the Xfinity Series. That was announced on Sunday. So that's pretty cool. Defending Xfinity Series champion. But I believe this was related to a manufacturer change. I should start putting more better notes down for some of these. But so that's pretty cool. Kevin Harvick was also penalized. This was prior to the Roval. I don't remember what this is exactly for. Let me see.
Sorry, my camera's off. I had to go get my charger because my phone is at 10%. Should have charged it before
Oh, okay. So it was massive penalty. They got an L2 level penalty for a unapproved modification of a single source part. So he was fined 100 driver and owner points, while his crew chief was suspended for 4 races, which started last week at the Roval. So he got 3 more races without Rodney Childers, and he was fined $100,000. So, well, now I don't necessarily always like Kevin Harvick, so I can't say I'm kind of laughing at him. But for modifying a single source part. That's a pretty harsh penalty. Like, holy crap!
It's like the penalty they gave Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin at Pocono.
Mm-hmm.
For the tiny part.
Right.
Like NASCAR, I get it. You're trying to be good, but geez, lay off the fines.
There's a lot of Harvick is like, yeah. So we're going to talk about SHR a little bit later. We already kind of did. We already mentioned the Byron penalty got changed. Those points came back after his penalty, which helped him get into the round of 8. So we'll move on to some more controversy. There's apparently there's negotiations going around with TV contracts for NASCAR, and apparently that is causing some division between drivers and teams. Division.
Imagine.
So Jackson kind of attested it to what was it called when the IndyCar split for the first time, like 1979 or something. Now, to be honest, I don't expect this to really go anywhere. I don't know why TV contracts is the main driver of the incident. Seeing the teams really don't have too much influence in the TV contracts. It's more up to NASCAR themselves. But, seeing this situation kind of heated up earlier in the week, and it kind of calmed down by now. So I don't think anything is going to come from this, but if it does, I think it definitely is going to have some big implications.
Right.
So what is it called? It's called AM or AM Racing. They're going full time at Xfinity next year. Let me see if I can find anything else about this. So AM Racing currently right now is a full time truck series team. The 22 part time for both Austin Wayne Self, Brett Moffitt, and Max Gutierrez, and part time for number 37 for multiple drivers in the truck series. But they are going to go to full-time Xfinity Racing. I don't remember. Yeah, here we go. I can look on this article right here. Because they're going to go Xfinity Truck, and they're going to go to full-time ARCA next year as well. So it looks like Austin Wayne Self will become the driver in the Xfinity Series. He made his Xfinity debut back at the Roval. Looks like he's going to be the primary driver. However, they are not going to be running him full time at the moment, at least. So that'll be pretty interesting. I mean, I've heard of Austin Wayne Self. I don't remember the team being all that competitive in the Truck Series. But maybe with the Xfinity car and maybe with a little bit of time, they can become competitive. It's always nice to add a little bit more competition to the ring. It's always a good thing. So
right.
Then we'll switch gears a little bit. The F1 champion was crowned. And I think it's safe to say that nobody gives a shit. Was I think Max Verstappen. I don't fucking know. If Jackson would ever show up, he could give us a little bit of shit to that. But we'll see. I think he's taking a fucking night class, and that night class ended at 9:30, so he might be a little while. But we'll see. But yeah, that's congratulations, Max Verstappen. I think it's like he's the first 2-time champion in a while. I don't quite know all the details there, but let's be honest, nobody watches fucking F1, so we can kind of throw out the window there. But I think he just clinched it anyways. I don't even think the season's over. It's kind of like a Matt Kenseth type situation. Would that be funny if he still lost it? Anyway, he said Alex Bowman will be out. This was announced just today, actually. Alex Bowman is going to be out for the next 3 races. So that is Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville. At this point, it does not make any sense to bring back a guy who's not going to be contention for a championship, bring him back for 1 race at Phoenix, and then risk him getting injured more permanently. Chances are he's not even going to be ready for Phoenix anyways. So, that sucks. It's just so weird. That's going back to just making the changes to the car and making them safer. You can't sit people out for the season for backing the car into the wall. No, you got to fix that. Right. So that's just insane.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hello.
Jackson is here.
Hello, Macho Man Randy said.
What? It is a possibility.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We won't be down.
Wild.
We just have to kind of wait and see.
Yeah. So, the thing I've been looking at mostly is the whole Tony Stewart is angry thing.
We were just getting to that.
Yeah.
We were just getting to that. But we got to get your opinions on some other topics as well.
Oh gosh.
Well, we still got a couple of big things. Do you want? How about should we just run back through our list? We were almost to the bottom. We had a couple things left. But I want your thoughts on the Roval. What was your thoughts on that and the Custer penalty and all that kind of stuff that went down?
So I watched it live in Canada, believe it or not, and first 2 stages were pretty underwhelming, honestly. I was a little surprised because, most of the other road races have been really, really good, but this one was kind of meh. The 3rd stage was where things got really weird.
AKA the last 5 laps.
Oh yeah, and a sign was on the track, and it was in the racing group, so I understand why they threw the caution for that. However, I have to say, there were some... Briscoe pretty much ran through the field, and after listening to the radio, because the spotter didn't tell him he had a flat tire, the spotter might have known if he had a flat tire. The crew chief did. So, it's pretty... it was pretty blatant. And I'm a guy who listens to Door Bumper Clear, the podcast with the spotters, and one of them is Brett Griffin, who was Boyer's spotter during the whole Spingate thing.
Wild.
And so I was like, ooh, I can't wait for him to talk this. And he didn't, thankfully, because, he has no right.
So do you think the Custer penalty is fair towards...
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Though I don't...
Say the name.
I think what should have happened is they should have penalized the 14. A few points. Nothing too much. Nothing insane. But maybe 10 points. But something that might make a difference.
Not forcefully take them out of the playoffs. Right?
No.
Like that.
Well, I don't know. Because the 20 earned his way in my opinion.
Yeah.
But the 14 kind of...
How to forget to talk about that?
The 14 kind of just drove his way in. And not drove in, drove through. So... Yeah. It has been shown consistently that Chase Briscoe is a very clean driver on the ovals, but can be somewhat over-aggressive, especially at the end of a race on the road courses, which I kind of understand. that mentality when, it's all on the line. But I don't know. I was honestly thinking Allmendinger was going to run away from it, but his car just wasn't quite fast enough.
It was Chase Elliott's race up until Tyler Reddick decided to make the crowd happy.
I don't know why everyone hates Chase Elliott.
They hate him because NASCAR. They think NASCAR kisses his ass.
Well, did you see what he did?
Oh, that's why I was.
Did you see what he did to the cameraman?
No. What?
Oh yeah.
He Kyle Busch that cameraman. He said, "Get out of here! Get out of here!"
Oh, lol.
I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
I looked on Facebook about that, and they go because I think I am in a group that has Kyle Busch fans, which I don't know why I do, but I just do. They go, if Kyle Busch was to ever do that, everyone would be talking crap about Kyle Busch.
Well, yeah, but
and I'm like, I mean, as a Chase Elliott fan, yeah, they would.
But I'm talking crap about him because
you're salty that your driver got eliminated.
Yeah, and some pretty screwy circumstances, absolutely.
Oh,
and it was what, 2 points?
I know there's only a few points, it's because was axle broke or whatever the hell that part is that always breaks. Like Chastain had that same problem too, and
nothing, and nothing against Christopher Bell. He drove a great race. I think he's going to be in contention for the championship 4. Do I think he's going to get to the championship 4? I'm not sure yet. I think he's easily been the most consistent and the best Toyota driver this year. Because Hamlin's consistency has been whack, and Kyle Busch is, it's like, oh, he's DNF'd. Oh, he's going to fight someone. Oh, he just won. But, yeah, I don't know. But Stewart-Haas Racing is getting screwed by NASCAR, right? Everyone but the 10 car is getting screwed. And they're not screwing Almirola because Smithfield's pouring more money into the sport.
I was just saying. Go ahead.
I just want to say we completely forgot to talk about the winner. Christopher Bell winning his way in, that's clutch shit right there. We talked all about the Custer penalty and the wild finish, and we totally forgot to talk about the winner. Yes, congratulations, Bell. Good job. But no, we'll talk about the Stewart-Haas stuff a little bit later, because I want to get your thoughts on a couple. Actually, Master, you say what you wanted to say first, and we'll move on.
I was just gonna say that I was just saying to Pringleson that I think at least William Byron and Ross Chastain are going to make to the Final 4, and I was. What do you think about that? I mean, do you think Ross Chastain could make it and William Byron could make it, at least?
If Denny Hamlin doesn't lose his mind.
True. I forgot those two hate, or Denny Hamlin hates those two. I forgot.
Well, from what I heard, it sounds like, at Talladega, Byron and Hamlin worked together, so I think it's water under the bridge. Not so much with Chastain. Yeah.
But
all right, another thing I want your opinion on, Jackson. The next gen crash test stuff and everything that's been going on with that.
I don't know.
They're making a lot of changes to the rear bumper of the car to make it crumple easier.
The rear or the front?
Rear. It's all on the rear. They're doing a bunch of work on the rear.
Okay, good. Because I don't think the front needs that much damage. I know the Cody Ware crash was a freak accident, and it had nothing. No complete hurt and Bowman's crash.
Right.
Because all with the leg, and then I can understand why he sat out, because you gotta do a lot more shifting on road courses and ovals, and that would probably hurt your foot. So, but once again, I have to say I hope. I'm pretty sure Cody's going to be back in the 51 for Vegas, on crutches, probably, but speed of recovery to him. but Alex Bowman's out for the next 3 weeks.
Right, we talked.
In the car will be Gregson will get some more Cup experience, and Allmendinger will go back to the 16 car and probably get a top 15. So I don't know. It's going to be strange. That's the best way I can put it. And I'm not buying it, but I don't know if you guys heard, but the Dodge talks have quit with Stuart Haas. Apparently.
I didn't even know they were happening to start with.
Oh my gosh, David Land had been covering it for like the entire first half of this year.
I don't watch David Land, so.
Well, you need to. But remember, Tony Stewart started an NHRA team, which runs Dodges. And It sounded like Dodcom with Stuart Haas as a fourth manufacturer. And to even help it, Dodge's factory driver for Tony Stewart is Tony Stewart's wife in NHRA. So I don't know. I'm a little. I think that this is all these crashes is like so. I'm, and I can't wait to get into the Tony Stewart interview because
oh boy.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't caught on camera, and I don't think it was.
Well, we'll get to it.
Was on tape.
We'll get to it.
But it was amazing.
You put the words Tony Stewart and interview in the same sentence, you know it's going to be crazy. And
the last big interview you had wasn't actually that long ago. It was that SRX one with Ernie Francis.
Well, that's true. Forgot you got a little fight there.
When Willie T called him, well, Uncle Tony's a little mad. He said, well, Uncle Tony's going to beat the shit out of him.
Tony Stewart always loves doing that. I don't think he loves it. I'm just saying that, like, I love watching him just do that.
Tony Stewart is always great TV. And will always
totally.
TV.
I found him kind of awkward in the Fox booth.
He knew what he was talking about, which you can't say for Clint Boyer.
And honestly, I think that they should, if they do have a person full time, they should go with the person who blended with Clint the best, and I think that was Jamie McMurray. But honestly, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like it's going to be Kurt Busch. So.
Well, that's barring Clint Boyer even decides to come back to the booth after what happened back in June. So.
That was freak. And he was completely exonerated after that. It was he did everything right. He called the police. He made sure he did everything correctly. He didn't do what you would expect Boyer to do and run away and scream and drink beer. So he was.
What is he?
He was fun. He there was a someone on crack that he hit at on the highway at night. But anyway, he was fine. So he's coming back. I'm pretty sure Kurt Busch is going to come back because there's been some Adam Stern going at it again with 2311. I guess RCR couldn't find a charter. Is the consensus?
Yeah, we haven't gotten to the Reddick stuff yet. I wanted your clarification on a couple other things though we were talking about. So there's some changes to Colleague in Xfinity. I believe this is referring to the Kyle Busch situation. I think they're going to be switching manufacturers. Do you know
Wait,
anything?
what?
I don't remember.
Whoa. Colleague?
Yeah, I think they're going.
Okay, no, stop it. You need to stop now. Just stop talking. Okay, so Colleague Racing is a Chevy team. Where's Kyle Busch going next year?
Going to RCR.
What do they run, Tyler?
I'm talking about Colleague, not RCR.
Okay, but they're both Chevy teams.
Look,
You see where I think you're stupid?
look.
I think what you heard was that Chandler Smith, Kyle Busch Motorsports driver, got an Xfinity Series ride with Colleague Racing, replacing AJ Allmendinger in the 16. I think that's what you're referring to.
Maybe that could possibly that could very well be it.
But anyway, well deserved. He's done a great job this year. He's one of the cleaner young drivers in the Xfinity Series or in the Truck Series. There are a lot of drivers that are way too aggressive. Chandler's not one of them. Zane Smith's another, and Zane is ready for the Xfinity Series. He's going to run another full truck season with Front Row, but I think he's ready for the Xfinity Series. But anyway, Chandler Smith will move to the Xfinity Series full time officially with Colleague. And the other two drivers are returning as well. I don't know why, because they've been awful. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. Colleague changing manufacturers. There's still a Chevy team.
I don't know. I should have recorded better notes for that one. But a couple other things I want your opinion on. So you were the one that broke this information in the sports chat a couple of days ago. The NASCAR division with like broadcast negotiations or something like that.
Oh yeah. So the I'm not. Turn your mic off. Okay. So stuff. Let me pull that up because that was crazy and incredibly fascinating. So, sorry about this, guys. So, basically, the drivers are really, really angry about the amount of money. Really, it's kind of like all about money, frankly. And the drivers are saying that the NASCAR business model, that NASCAR is hiding stuff from them. And okay, here's everything right now. So it started with Jeff Gordon telling who is essentially CEO of Hendrick Motorsports. He and Chad Knaus are basically the team bosses. Jeff said that NASCAR and the teams are very far apart in their talks on the financial split of the sport's next media rights deal. So that would be what media channels go, what media channels NASCAR is going to be on. This year it's Fox and NBC, 2026, I think, whether it's, one of the four major networks or whether it's a streaming service, which I think is what the teams don't want because they get less exposure, potentially.
I don't want that either, to be honest.
I do. I'm going to be honest, I do, because I don't have cable and I want the NBCSN races on Peacock.
Not NBCSN anymore, though. USA.
USA, excuse me.
NBCSN
sorry,
is not
I'm so
non-existent anymore.
USA. The USA races, for some reason, are not on Peacock. And not all the NBC races are either. It's strange. It's confusing. Anyway, Jenna Fryer, who's also a pretty good, reliable source, replied, a subcommittee of the RTA media today to discuss its revenue sharing proposals it gave to NASCAR. The RTA says NASCAR sat on it for months and the eventual response given last week was not acceptable. I mentioned that this is sounding more and more like the very first IndyCar split, which that was all about television. Not the 96 IndyCar split, the 79 IndyCar split when the championship auto racing teams was formed. And split from USAC, the United States Auto Club. And then Adam Stern replied, NASCAR teams' calculations show that 93% of the total value of the sport is represented by the league and tracks, while 7% is represented by teams' combined value per 2311 racing investor Curtis Polk. NASCAR has not yet responded to that claim, is what Stern said. And then after this, Bob Pockrass, we all love Bob, reported NASCAR statement on teams going public with concerns over revenue distribution in the sport and that they are far apart from what they want and what the league is proposing. This is quote from NASCAR. Quote, NASCAR acknowledges the challenges currently facing race teams. A key focus moving forward is an extension to the charter agreement, says maybe like another charter, one that will further increase revenue and help lower team expenses. Collectively, the goal is a strong, healthy sport, and we will accomplish that together.
Okay.
There's a lot of backroom stuff. It sounds like that CBS or ESPN or NBC are interested, but they're interested in putting it on the streaming services, and I guess the teams don't want that. And I guess NASCAR is saying that, hey, we have 90 revenue. You guys the teams combined are only 7%. So we have the hostile takeover. We could take over, and that's why I'm thinking, what if these teams decide to start a rival league or something like that?
I don't know. I don't think.
I don't know if they could go that far, but you never know, man. It could. Who knows?
I think anything really coming out of this is pretty unlikely. Like anything that's going to cause like a major ripple is pretty unlikely. I do think that they're probably. What I think is probably Fox is going to keep their contract and NBC is going to get some, and they're going to be forced to put some on NBC on TV, but the USA ones might be on Peacock as well. I
think they want to put all the races on Peacock. Not all of them, excuse me. All the ones that are on NBC and USA. And of course NASCAR and one of the things that I don't think NASCAR minds as much is NASCAR and the WWE teaming up, because they're both on the same networks. SmackDown's on Fox, and Raw and NXT are on USA. And I don't know. There are no closed doors. We're living in uncertain times, as they said in 2020.
So, as they all say. Cool. Well, good. We got some clarification on that. Final thing before we get to more new topics is did Max Verstappen? What's Verstappen? Verstappen.
Verstappen. Max Verstappen, 2-time Formula One world champion. This one was much less controversial. This one he just dominated. Like the problem was that Sergio Perez was two things. Sergio Perez was too focused on the Ferraris, and the Ferrari strategies were so stupid. And Mercedes, their cars weren't quite as good, weren't race winning. So Verstappen just kind of ran away with it. But a well-earned and well-deserved championship. Last year, of course, was much more controversial, much more up for debate. But also, I'm sure you heard about the spending thing, about how both Red Bull and Aston Martin increased their spending. Aston was played to get competitive because this year they started horribly, and now Red Bull claims it was catering. So that's what the extra money they used were spent on after doing an investigation. So
okay. I just wanted clarification to make sure I got the champion's name right and everything about
it's
that.
Verstappen. He's Dutch. So
Okay.
he has a mix of a German and a British accent.
Huh.
Or is that
Interesting.
Danish? No, that's Danish. Danish is a mix of a Dutch and an English accent. No, he talks like this, a Dutch accent. But yes,
All right.
congratulations to Max Verstappen, who joins quite a legendary list of back-to-back F1 champions. Pull up the list.
We'll put a pin in it.
No. I got it. That doesn't matter. But Lewis Hamilton, I think, won back-to-back championships. Well, he won a back-to-back championships, but also did it 4 in a row. So did Sebastian Vettel. Alonso won 2 in a row. Michael Schumacher won 5 in a row. Schumacher won 2 in a row. Senna won 2 in a row. So a very legendary list he's joining. So,
Wow.
like up there in like the top 20 greatest, top 10 greatest F1 drivers of all time. That's how good I think Max is proving himself to be. So, easily the best Dutchman driver. But yeah, congratulations to Max. Well-earned championship, and I'd like to see his teammate get the championship next year, Sergio Perez, because he's had a great year. He's currently second. He's second in the point standings. So, but team orders are team orders, and I hate them. All right, is that it?
We got a couple new topics. So Hitmaster, if you're still there, we're moving on now. So it's pretty. And Jackson left. How surprised? Nope, he's back. He's back.
Sorry.
We're almost done. We only got like 3 things left on the list, but they're all pretty big things. So, it's been just recently announced that it's heavily rumored. There's no official announcement made yet, but it's out there. It's gonna happen. There's gonna be a buyout of Reddick's contract, and he will be joining 2311 in 2023 instead of 2024. Which opens up a whole can of worms for questions about what's going to happen. Mainly now with Kurt Busch, is because Kurt Busch is set to make an announcement at Las Vegas regarding. It's not said it was regarding about what's going to happen, but he is set to make an announcement this weekend. So a lot of people think.
If I had to guess, it's either retirement, returning to the 45, or this is a while. I think joining the Fox booth, because last year he did the Fox booth in the Truck Series and he was really good in it. So and he was doing it this year, but the concussion unfortunately stopped that from happening. But yeah, who knows?
I think it's good that Reddick's going to 2311 and 2023, but I do hope.
Well, the problem was he was doing it with RCR. I mean, 3 wins. I did not see that happening. Frankly, I saw him getting his first career win, and I didn't see him getting 3.
Yeah, he might know. So he's got 4 more chances to get more as well. So
yeah. So I guess Richard Childress is just insulted or something if he really wants to get rid of him, because his team will go down the toilet because he's replacing a young driver with an old guy who's kind of an ass. So.
Well, see, the problem is that the spotlight got moved away from his grandson, so that's why he had to go. See, there you go. That's pretty much all 23. That's all pretty much all Childress is about now, is Austin Dillon and thinking about Dale Earnhardt. I don't know, Hitmaster, what are your thoughts? Do you think Kurt is done? What is...
Honestly, I think... I don't think he's done, but if I had to say, what this announcement was going to be, it would have to be another retirement. Because, I mean, just retire. I mean, I'm not saying that in like a rude thing, like, oh, you should just retire. He's accomplished already a lot of things. He's already won a championship. He's won a lot of races. And he's the better Busch in my eyes. So, I mean, to retire, I'll be okay with it.
But we'll have to see. But maybe it's a good thing. We'll see. You know, anything can happen. But and then the last thing, Jackson hinted at it. The Kevin Harvick penalty last week was not the only thing that hot watered it, and the Cole Custer penalty as well. Stewart Haas under a lot of hot water right now due to stuff that's going on. And the owner, Tony Stewart, is pissed. And
all right, I gotta pull up this tweet because this is awesome. It's right here. So before I get to the tweet, I'm gonna say what he had to say. Quote: "I'm not gonna talk about it NASCAR right now. I'm not talking about it." End quote. Another quote he said: "Super glad I'm drag racing this weekend. If it weren't for the fact that I've got a couple of appearances that I have to make, I wouldn't be in another NASCAR race the rest of the year. Wouldn't waste my time." And here is, and he was asked if he was having fun with NHRA and his wife, and he said, "I love it. The atmosphere is way different. I like the atmosphere there. I have all year," unquote. And then the tweet, which looking for a new weekend hobby. And then in parentheses, it says something not Southeastern based. If anyone has any ideas, something low drama and relaxing, preferably.
Oh, boy.
So, you know, he Stewart, I don't know. I don't know if it has to do with that Mike Helton isn't in charge anymore, because that this was never Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart never bashed NASCAR. He would bash Goodyear. He would bash Toyota, but he never bashed the sanctioning body, because Mike Helton is widely regarded as probably the best corporate leader NASCAR had. I think you know that all the drivers, he was good with all the drivers. He was especially close to Dale Earnhardt Sr., Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Tony Stewart. So yeah, I don't know. I think Tony's just pissed at everyone right now. Maybe and of course, you know, there was the fact that NASCAR decided not to go back to Eldora, his track. There was the fact that NASCAR probably saw the SRX series as competition, despite it clearly not being competition. I don't know.
I think just tensions are boiling over because his team is getting fined 6 ways to Sunday over the last week.
No, I'm seeing. I think it's just building up, and now the talks with Dodge have stalled. The alleged talks with Dodge, I should say. But still.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of factors going in. But I don't. Again, like I said with the division thing, I don't know if there's going to be really any lasting implications here. It's just Tony Stewart being Tony Stewart, and we move on, you know, kind of thing. But it'll be interesting to see if anything does happen, you know, being everything that has happened with penalties this season and God knows what else. So, all right, well, that's everything I had except for our preview for the next episode. Unless anybody else had anything.
That's it.
Yeah.
So let's somebody pull up the round of 8 standings for both the next standings for both Cup and Xfinity, because they race this weekend.
Yeah, I got it.
Truck comes back not next week. Well, this weekend, but the next weekend at Homestead. So we're not going to worry about them right now.
All right, so let's start with the Xfinity Series. So the standings, the playoff standings in the Xfinity Series right now, I think we're in the round of, this is the round of 8. Noah Gragson is plus 34. AJ Allmendinger's plus 22. Ty Gibbs is plus 16, and Justin Allgaier is plus 11. If that was the final four, I would say that was perfect. You could maybe swap Allgaier for Josh Berry, who is minus 11. Austin Hill is minus 50. Brandon Jones is minus 22. And Sam Mayer, who it looks like is going to lock up Rookie of the Year, is minus 28. Oh, no, he won't. Austin Hill will lock it up. My bad. Because Hill's won 2 races and Mayer hasn't won anything. Forgot Hill was a rookie. Cup Series, playoff standings, the round of 8 as well. Chase Elliott is plus 31. I think it's good to take a miracle for him not to be in the final 4. Joey Logano plus 11. Ross Chastain plus 6. Christopher Bell plus 3. Ryan Blaney minus 3. William Byron minus 3. Denny Hamlin minus 5. Chase Briscoe minus 9. So with the exception of Elliott, everything is pretty tight.
Yeah. We got Las Vegas coming up.
Yeah.
So
and
weirdly enough,
do you guys want to hear something hilarious?
What?
You guys are gonna kick out of this.
Okay.
In the driver standings, technically speaking, Alex Bowman is ahead.
What?
And he's missed. He is 100 points ahead of Harvick. So he's not, despite missing a few races.
More than a few at this point. He's missed, what, 5? He's going to miss 5 or 4?
It's gonna be 5 currently. So yeah.
Probably going to be 6 because there's only 1 race left after he comes back. So,
yeah.
Interesting. So, yep, we got Las Vegas coming up. Funny enough, the Cup race starts at 2:30 Eastern time. So it's going to be an 11:30 start for Las Vegas. That is hilarious, I think.
Yeah.
Weird, but hilarious. Who we got? Do we think anything's big is going to happen? Do we got...
No. What happened at Las Vegas in the spring? Was Bowman? Well, he's not going to win.
Yeah, that was Bowman. Get that win.
I don't know.
I can't believe I remembered that.
Vegas is usually all about gambling. The crew chiefs always seem to remember that, oh, we're in Vegas, so we have to gamble on fuel or tires or something. So, I don't think we're going to see anything too crazy unless a car backs into the wall. But I don't know. I'm hoping that we can see some interesting. I want to see a 20th winner. Blaney still somehow hasn't won this year, and I think he has the most stage wins this season. You got to stop racing for stage points and start racing for wins, Blaney.
I mean, he's gotten this far because of it. So,
Yeah, I don't know. Blaney and Truex are the only 2 drivers, honestly, that haven't won yet that I think can definitely get to victory lane. But Blaney especially, because Truex is just, I don't know what's happened, but his luck is just toilet.
All right, so we'll do winner predictions. So Brian picked Logano this weekend. Surprise, surprise. I originally actually picked Kurt Busch this weekend, but since he's
that's
not racing,
not going to happen.
I changed it to Chase Elliott again. See if we can get our better luck this time around. Jackson, you picked William Byron this weekend, and my dad picked Kyle Busch. So
I think who did Brian pick Logano?
Yeah.
And I picked Byron?
Yeah.
And you picked?
I picked Chase Elliott.
I think the 3 of us have about an equal shot. I think your dad is going to lose big time.
Well, we'll have to see about that. He's winning the standings somehow, despite.
How many points do I have?
It's 3, 2, 1, 1.
So 1 or 2?
You have 2. Me and Brian have 1.
Wow,
So,
I wasn't expecting that. Okay, cool.
But then, Hitmaster, what is your pick? Who do you think is going to win this weekend?
It's going to be a close one, and I'm going with a far limb here. I'm going with Ross Chastain.
I don't think that's out of the question.
Honestly, yeah, it's not a bad pick. I think I said that last week too. Honestly,
Chastain's not a bad pick anywhere this year, especially. So yeah.
But yeah,
As long as Denny Hamlin isn't near him.
Well, I mean, that hasn't really been a problem this playoffs. Like we thought Chastain was going to
He has cooled it down. He has really cooled it down.
Surprisingly,
but,
he's not gotten
unfortunately, it's yeah. I guess he remembered that what happened to Joey Logano.
No, there's still 4 races left, so
yeah.
There's still time. Dreaded Martinsville is still on the schedule as well, so really anything can happen. But we'll have to see. That's gonna. But I believe nobody else has anything. I think that's gonna wrap it up for this week's episode of the Talking NASCAR podcast. It was a great episode. Thank you for Hitmasters for coming on. Thank you for Jackson for staying the whole time for once. And we will talk about Las Vegas next week. Whatever happens there. Preview the championship playoff outlook and any other crap that goes on. We will preview that in the next episode. So until then, though, stay tuned for much more amazing content. And until next time, we will see you guys later. And goodbye.